Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another Sideshow Collectibles 1/6 scale figure unboxing and review video. Now today we're kickstarting a new series of reviews based on classic DC Comics style characters translated into figure format by Sideshow. I personally am super excited. I've had my eye on these comic-based figures for a while now, but I stumbled across Superman and Batman in the wild. I saw them, I fell in love, and now I've decided to pick up the entire line. So yes, you will be seeing Superman, you will be seeing Batman, The Flash, Green Lantern, Lobo, Wonder Woman, and the Joker. Plus, I've pre-ordered Harley Quinn for good measure, so stay tuned to the channel. There is a whole bunch of DC Comics goodness coming up. Now, if you are looking to pick up some of these figures, they are available from time to time from Sideshow directly. In fact, I do believe they are doing second batches of some of them. If you can't find them on Sideshow's website, you can always hit up eBay or your local collectible buy-sell groups on Facebook. But they aren't too tricky to find if you are looking for them. What we are going to do now though is get the box laying flat in the light box and do the unboxing. And here of course we have the box art for Superman. It's pretty straightforward. I really like it. It's very, very classy. A line art version of Metropolis on the side in a super classic blue, Superman logo on the front, then some comic panel artwork on the side there. If you do remove the top cover, however, that comic book style artwork extends to the top there. Really love that graphic. To the side with a bunch more, and then on the bottom, that one might actually be my favorite. And of course, on the back of the box, you have an image of the figure himself. Now, I've actually never seen this figure in person, so I really didn't know what to expect. And I didn't expect all of this awesome comic book artwork on the inside of the box. There are actually covers of some classic Superman comics. That is absolutely beautiful. Great attention to detail on the box by Sideshow. Also, this piece around the front is Superman's belt, and it also holds the two clam trays together. That's also rather ingenious. I don't think I've ever seen any company do something like that before. Quite clever on the part of Sideshow. And of course, here we have the Man of Steel himself, Superman in his classic comic book styled glory. And we will be talking more about the figure itself and my future plans for him a little bit later in the video. Now you can see he does come with one tray of accessories and another one down below there. So what we are going to do now is get all of Superman's accessories laid out in the light box and take a closer look. And here we have all of the bits and pieces that come with Superman. He comes with a fairly decent array. The basics, in my opinion, that should come included with Supes. Now let's take a look at the display base first. It's the usual Sideshow hexagonal style display base. Unfortunately, there's no print on mine. I'm pretty sure that came with the exclusive, or maybe that was something else, but all of the other League members have some kind of print over the top. Even something simple like a manhole cover that said Metropolis would have been a nice inclusion, but nevertheless, they decided not to go for that. We do get two different options for how to attach Superman to the display base. We've got the regular crotch grabber, but we also have this extended pole with a waist grabber, so you can have him mid-flight. I'm not a huge fan of these pieces. I would have preferred kind of like what Hot Toys give us, those bendy wire style poles. Nevertheless, that's what Sideshow decided to go with. You do get this little metal style container made of plastic with a kryptonite gem on the inside. Initially I thought this came out, but no, it's definitely fixed in there. It's a little bit more of a softer green. I would have liked a super deep emerald green, but still, it's a nice inclusion. We also get this, the Lost City of Kandor with a Superman logo on the front there, and the city on the inside. You can see a couple of rings around the outside of the city itself, and is done in a translucent style plastic. I love this piece. It's a really nice little gadget, and you can of course just pop it on his display base. This is also a genius accessory that I absolutely love. It's a Starro. You can of course attach it to Superman's face, and you will see that at the outro of the video. I love the way it's sculpted, and I love the way it's painted. It's a super simple accessory that honestly has me tempted to pick up another Superman to display him with Starro on his face. That's how cool this accessory really is. You of course get a couple of swap out hands, some flight palms, and some gripping hands. They are painted exceptionally well. Finally, Sideshow have got it down pat to where the skin texture actually looks realistic and semi-translucent. Also, you'll notice all of the interchangeable hands come with wrist pegs. Sideshow, I love y'all for doing this. I wish Hot Toys would get on board and do this as well, because that is absolutely genius. What we are going to do now though is get Superman himself out here and take a closer look. And here we have him standing straight up and down in the light box, no crazy poses or accessories or anything like that. And yeah, that's Superman, a straight down the line, super simple comic book version of Superman. I didn't even know that this was something that I was always looking for until I unboxed him. And now I have to say that I don't know how I lived without this figure in the collection. It's a just super classy, classic Superman. Trust me, if you haven't picked this up and you're a Superman fan, especially the comic version, do yourself the favor of getting this release, because you're going to be thanking yourself. It's an awesome piece. The colors are super punchy and vibrant. He's entirely covered in spandex, so you can pose him without fear of damaging the suit. Plus, if you wanted to, you could go out and find one of those third-party Chris Reeve Superman head sculpts and pop it on this guy and then have a Christopher Reeve Superman. But I personally will be sticking with the head sculpt that comes with him because it is pretty darn fantastic. What we are going to do now though is take him off the rotating turntable, punch in, and take a closer look at the details. And here we have him up close and personal. And yeah, that's a super comic book accurate styled version of Superman. Now let's talk about the head sculpt first. Obviously, they weren't really trying to replicate a real person. This is not Henry Cavill, it's not Chris Reeve, and it's not Brandon Routh. It's just a comic book style version of Clark Kent. And I really like it. I think it works perfectly for Superman. It's generic enough to fit in pretty much anywhere in a comic book style display. I love the Superman curl at the front here and the piercing blue for the eyes. Plus the texture and paint applications on the skin is actually pretty darn decent. I'm really liking this sculpt. Now as for the body, don't worry, we'll talk about the outfit in just a second, but the body in my opinion might be slightly too skinny. Now I know these days we're used to the big beefy versions of Superman, and back in the day he kind of looked more like this, so it works for a classic comic book style version. However, for me, I still think I want to upgrade the body to maybe something like a Fison M34 and give him even more bulk and mass. I think that'll really help with the overall proportions and look of the figure. Not that they're bad by any means, I still think he looks pretty darn awesome, but I think that body will fill out the suit perfectly. Now let's talk about the suit. It's literally a blue spandex suit. It looks great. Plus, it's all material, so you can go crazy with your posing. You can also see some musculature visible underneath the suit itself. Obviously, if we go for a Fison body, that'll be even more accentuated. Now, he does have the underoos on the outside. Technically, you can remove these if that's something you wanted to do and just have the belt, although it is glued on the back there, so you'll have to pry it apart if that's something you wanted to do. Now coming down to the boots, these things are awesome. It's a split cut boot design, which of course I love, but it's super well disguised. Honestly, you wouldn't even notice if you just saw this guy on the shelf because the folds are sculpted in a way that nice and naturally curve over the top of the shoe there. It's ingenious, and I love the way they've done it. Plus the paint applications, as simple as they are, there's a subtle shading, so it does make it look like a material style boot. Unfortunately, there is no detail though on the underside of the soles. But overall, for my first foray into the DC Comics world from Sideshow, I'm really darn impressed. Now for a quick side-by-side comparison, here we have the Sideshow Supes on the left and the Hot Toys Justice League Superman on the right. can we just take a moment to admire how good the Hot Toys Justice League Superman looks? I still can't get over how beautiful that super shiny metallic punchy blue suit looks. Anyway, we're not here to talk about him, we're here to talk about the Sideshow figure. It looks fantastic. Obviously, I'd still rather have the Hot Toys one if I had to choose between the two, but on his own, the Sideshow figure does hold up. The sculpt is great, the paint applications are pretty darn awesome, and the suit is super classic. He works even better if you are planning on picking up the rest of the league, which by all means I am. So we'll see how the collection shapes up over time. Just going over articulation on Superman. Now bear in mind, this is my personal copy of the figure, so I'm going to be a little bit more careful. I'm sure when you get yours in hand, you can push the joints slightly further than I'm willing to go. Now starting off with the head sculpt itself, it is on a fixed bodied neck. However, it is a rubbery appliance, so you still get a fairly decent range of motion. The arms themselves go out pretty much the full way, same thing going forward, although the joints are really nice and stiff and sturdy. You do have a butterfly joint incorporated up there as well. Single bend at the elbow, which has a swivel, and of course a regular 1/6 scale wrist peg for the hand. Now for the torso, you do have swivel, crunch forward and back, and pivot side to side. The legs go forward pretty much the full way, same thing going out, swivel is incorporated at the thigh. Now you do have a double bend at the knee, but it is incredibly stiff and very, very sturdy. Just be sure to sort of warm it up a little bit before trying to ratchet that joint all the way down. And finally, you do have a ball joint down here at the ankle. Just wrapping up on the Sideshow comic book version of Superman. How do more people not have this figure? Because it's really awesome. I didn't know where it was going to fall on the scale between horrible and fantastic, and I can unequivocally say it is fantastic. I love it. It's super simple, but they got the basics right here. All the way down to the sculpt. It's generic enough to be Superman. It's heroic, but it's also realistic enough to look like a real person. They've struck that balance pretty much perfectly. It's painted really well, and as I said, it looks realistic. The body they've chosen is also great. It's not overly big and muscular. I am tempted to change it to an M34, but I'm also leaning towards maybe not. I've got the big beefy Superman in the Man of Steel, BVS, Justice League Supes. This guy can just be the nice, slim, trim version of Supes. Still powerful, but not as bulky. The outfit is made out of an awesome, stretchy material, and the cape, it drapes perfectly. It's pretty much the best 1/6 scale official cape that I've seen in a while from an official company. Usually you have to switch it out for a third-party cape. Not the case with this one. I think this works flawlessly. Some wires would have been icing on the cake, but nevertheless, it doesn't need them. It's perfect in its own way. As for the accessories, he comes with enough, in my opinion. There could have been a few more, maybe a couple of effect pieces would have been awesome add-ins, but still, I can honestly say, if you're a comic book fan and you love Superman, this guy has my vote. Now, if you are looking to pick him up, I don't exactly know where you can find him. Maybe on eBay, maybe your local comic book stores. You'll have to hunt around, and let me know what you think of him down in the comments below. Also, while you are down there, why not check out the link to 6 Scale Network, the awesome Facebook group. Come along, chat figures, share photos of your collection, and of course, see what's coming up next on the channel. Like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next video.